let's try to invite Casey, Simon, and Mike into the. Mike, I'm just waiting for them to come in. Hope you're all doing well today, folks. Hope you've had having a good mental health month and enjoying October. I've not got any orcs to paint because orcs suck ass. So just waiting here now for some folks to appear on. And then we're rocking and rolling on week 5 of the Inquisition. As you can tell, I've got a glorious tan. I was away in Mallorca. The only thing that's different about me is I got malted with mosquitoes. My wife looks like she's been in the sun for about 4 years after a week. I think I've came back whiter than what I left. Hello, Simon. Hope you're well, mate. Turn off my Wi-Fi here, see if that makes a difference. I don't know this earlier. But I didn't. I did send an invite, Simon. Do you want to request? I sent you another invite there. I've also sent you an invite as well, Mike. Just go into your request, Mike, and accept. Right, I've sent you another invite there. Hello, Simon.
Hello. I don't know I can't see you again, but that's par for the course.
Yeah, and my Wi-Fi's turned off as well, so.
My Wi-Fi's off as well. Hey.
How are you, mate? Are you off this week?
How are you?
Are you off this week, Charlie?
Am I off this week now? I'm on day 6 of 8.
I'll try send you another invite here, Mike. Just give me a second here. This always happens with us. And
we need to get a Twitch channel or something. Shit.
Yeah. I suppose Casey will be here when he eventually turns up.
He was on time last week when we weren't doing Inquisition. Hi, Josh. You okay?
Maybe he's getting
and hello, I saw Ash slip in as well. All right, Rich. How are you? He's accepted each time not having it. Oh God.
Do you want to send a request to me and I'll see if that works?
Yeah, sometimes it works the other way around if you request to join.
Here we go. I've accepted. Can you hear me okay, Simon?
I can hear you, I just can't see you.
Here we go. There he is. There's the bearded. Right. There's the bearded god himself.
See, it's all right because I just can't see you, done, which is great. It's fine.
Oh, don't worry, you got me now. Daddy will look after you.
Daddy will look after you, as he looks after me every single day when I'm working.
My God, I have to, don't I? Got to keep you up during those work hours.
So, thanks for coming on the Inquisition, Mike. Really happy to have you on. Like, you're like one of my top Twitch streamers, which I don't watch during when I'm working. Not that I do that, but when I like to sit back and relax on my breaks, I like to tune in and watch you painting your miniatures and your varied chats, which we all have a good chin wag on. They can go from Star Wars to the Incas at times with some of your chats. So for people that don't know you, can you just tell us about yourself and what your hobby is and what you do?
Basically, I'm the anti-streamer streamer. So I absolutely hate Warhammer, and I really hate quite a lot of the online miniatures community. Yeah, I get on with a lot of them. So my channel's a really weird place because there's a lot of us who kind of find the positive in the kind of negative space that is the mini wargaming and the more social spheres of it. One of the best things about wargaming in general is it's as private as you want it and as public as you make it. So if you want to sit in a quiet corner and paint your miniatures and play your own games, wunderbar. If you want to go out to a club, you want to interact with streams, it's wonderfully personable. So you can do a lot of stuff like that. What I tend to find is a lot of the online spaces for streams, mini painting and gaming communities are very forcefully, you must join in, you must do that. So my stream is very much a place where you can interact as you like or hide in the shadows, come in as you want. You could be as social as you want. And we kind of all buy into that ethos that the hobby is what we're individually making it. So people just come and go and they lurk and they have fun. And most of the time I'm playing with D&D because the big overarching problem for me with wargaming is, oh, you collect miniatures, you must be painting Warhammer. No, there is a whole world outside it. So that's what I do. I basically run a very private yet public forum. I run a very quiet yet loud space, and an alternative to miniatures that are popular, and then do the occasional look as well. So I know that might be confusing, but you do have to join the stream to figure it out.
I don't paint any Dungeons and Dragons, and I predominantly just paint Warhammer. And like you've helped me, like a lot of the community, you're very open to everybody. Like in December 31st last year, when my wife was struck down with COVID, we couldn't go out. I was DMing you on Instagram, and you were helping me with a wee bit of technique and stuff like that. So like, even though you don't like Warhammer stuff, you'll still help people, and you'll still interact with people that do Warhammer stuff.
Oh, 100%. The problem I have with Warhammer, just to be kind of like get out the gate on the right foot, is there is this abuse of its own fan base that comes from Games Workshop directly and from other hobby shops. And the problem is, and I'm hoping some of you guys will see this, you've got an industry that's centered around Games Workshop and the Warhammer brand. So what happens is they will put out a product, let's say it's £20, right? And then the industry behind them will go, oh, we can charge £20 for a miniature now. So then everybody else puts their price in line with GW, and then GW go, oh, but we have to tell everyone with the premium miniatures, so now they're £25. So you've now got this completely ascending market. You've got a slightly elitist crowd. And then when you tell people you paint minis, and you're like, yeah, I just paint like little men. Here's a baker. Here's a sausage merchant. And people are like, what? So my ethos isn't so much I hate Warhammer as much as I hate what Warhammer's become as the market standard. So, yeah.
So just come back. Like, when did you first start hobby, and what age were you when you started picking up a brush? And what was it? What was your very first miniature that you painted?
So I became a brush jockey at about 10 years old. So you're looking 20 years ago now. So I already had my first mustache, and the big thing for me was the Lord of the Rings Battle Games for Middle Earth magazine. So that came with 12 Moria goblins, some basic paints, a basic brush, the standard magazine subscription. So what happened there is, this is where my kind of bad guy GW arc started. I went into the Games Workshop shop and I went, my first mini, I want Legolas and Gimli on horse. Gorgeous mini. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Lord of the Rings mini, but to get two characters on horse has only been done like twice. So 3 times now, actually. But absolutely amazing miniature. So I went in there to buy that, and the whole time they were like, psst, want to buy some Space Marines? Psst, can we upsell you to this? And I was like, oh, calm down, mate, I'm 10. Like, I got 3 cubes and I pissed through one, leave me alone. And they basically gaslit my parent at the time to try and include me in other war games. So we walked away quite happy that day with my goblins and extra paint for my goblins, and then Legolas and Gimli on horse. And we came back and I slowly got introduced to other games. But Lord of the Rings was my first love, and is still like the game I played the longest. It is the one I want to get more back into. I've got 3 armies that I've had since I was like 10. And for me to hold on to one game for 20 years shows how good that game must be when they haven't updated sculpts for many of the miniatures since 2003. So that's kind of my journey in, and also the beginning of my kind of I'm done with you arc. That then led on to games like 40k, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, back when we were all in little square, we all had little square bases. And I had the same experience. I went into GW, hey, I really want to start an Orc army. And they're like, but Space Marines are better for beginners. And this would have been third edition. So they convinced my parent at the time, I'd have been about 13, and they said, no, buy him a Space Marine army for Christmas, they'll love it. And I did. I went and I was gifted a Space Marine army. That wasn't what I wanted. It didn't match anything I wanted in my head. And yet they'd hard sold and convinced my parental unit that that was what I needed. So, sorry, one moment. This is Willow.
There it is, there. The legend herself, Willow.
There you go. She will be in the stream. I'm very sorry if you get some accidental butthole. I'll try and contain myself, and Willow will behave too. But the big thing was, every time I went into a GW store, I was redirected to things I didn't want that suited their bottom line. And the big Willow, please, not down the barrel, not down the barrel. Yeah, I ended up with armies I didn't want, and I ended up with figures I didn't enjoy painting, and I ended up with more plastic crap than I knew how to do with. And 20 years later, I've still got on the Lord of the Rings. I'm on my third iteration of an Orc army, and I have absolutely no intention of going near anything Space Marine unless I absolutely have to. But I'll leave you with my one, this is why I really hate GW. Back when I was about 14, I crippled my back, and I used to be a pretty damn good rugby player. Since then, I've got degenerative nerves in my hands, so I can't grip as much as I need to. Over the years, I've been rehabbing, mini painting, I've been doing all sorts of kind of self-betterment exercises. But back then, I had to have a specialist grip on my paintbrush. So I ended up with these rather broad-handled paintbrushes that I could grip. So I went into GW, my GW clippers, my GW miniatures, my GW paints. They kicked me out and tried to ban me because my paintbrush wasn't on brand. I was livid. I was 15 and they told me that I was disrespecting their brand, that I was robbing the company. And it's like, I've been at this store now for 4+ years, buying every Saturday. And you tell me because my paintbrush is adapted to my disability, I'm not welcome here. So that's when I started experimenting with places like Element Games and started going to more local hobby shops. And it's one of the reasons why I have absolutely no reservation about calling out GW on anything now. And I'm kind of known as this big mouth renegade who doesn't let other people talk. And when it comes to GW, and what you'll find, a lot of the people who like GW, whether you're in this chat or whether you're in the text chat as well, they're fanatics. They just work the balls of GW while gaggling shaft, and they know nothing else about any other miniature lines, any other things. And if you dare insult the overlord of GW, you end up with people sending you really weird messages in the early hours of the morning. So yeah, that's my experience kind of as a mini painter, getting into it all, and my slight saltiness at the brand right now, which is why I'm guessing you wanted me here, because I'll be the one person who kind of doesn't suck and work the balls.
Well, the reason I think, for me personally, I wanted you on, we want a wide variety of people to come on, and having a Twitch streamer, and you're also now moving away from Twitch because of the politics within Twitch as well, which you're very vocal about. You don't really like either, and you're now moving to Kick. So having somebody like yourself on who's not scared, like the three of us aren't scared to shoot from the hip, and we kind of speak how we feel, and to have someone like yourself on is brilliant to have on, to show that it's not just about Games Workshop, it's not just about Citadel. Like, you do a lot of Dungeons and Laser stuff, you do a lot of giveaways, you're very, even though your community is quite small, it's quite broad in a way that you're always giving it out and you're always helping people within the community as well. And so having somebody like you, and also a former rugby player, ticking all the boxes here for myself.
He basically wanted to suck your shaft and juggle your balls, to be honest. That's why he did.
You have to look Dad in the eye when you're working there. If you're playing the skin flute, I want a solo. Like that. But with
Boltstorm Wargaming in the chat, Scott, who's Coop, that's why I said Coop in there. You've got a friend in him in not worshipping GW. To be fair, I don't think any of the three of us do, to be honest. Mine used to work for the company, so I know firsthand how shit they are. I know that Coop's not a fan. Since I started going to Boltstorm, which is my local gaming store, I've started to play loads more systems than GW systems, and there's better systems out there. I'm quite happy to say that. And I'm going back to what you said about the messages. I, a couple of years ago, came out and spoke out on a video about the GW price rises, one of many GW price rises. I got so many DMs telling me how I was wrong and they were right to raise their prices.
I did a TikTok video, and it was a box opening from Reaper Miniatures, and I got my favourite line in all of inboxes. And I basically did a panning shot. I got some like 15 paints and 9 unique sculpt miniatures in their own packaging, and I was like, so this is what we got here from Reaper for £45, and this is the 5 Space Marines you get in a box. And somebody went, well, sometimes I prefer a gourmet meal rather than a pot noodle. And I just, mate, you've got the same, the Space Marine fundamentals haven't changed since, what, 2008, the last rebodied shape of a Space Marine was done. They scaled them up for the more recent Vajaz, but the actual core of a Space Marine has not changed. And they inboxed me like I was on some high horse, because I was like, have you seen my pretty little dwarf? Like, if I can get 15 pence and 9 models for the price of 5 bog standard Marines, there is something wrong with the market. It's fundamentally the same. And they're like, oh yeah, but Space Marines, I love the Space Marines, they're much higher standard. It's like, yeah, they're a mass-produced sprue of the exact same parts. Yet these are all individual sculpts. They've gone out and ordered another sculptor for, who's gone out and rendered it. They've individually packaged it. They've individually marketed it. It's not just a reprint plus some new arms. They've actually gone to the drawing board each time. So how are you justifying the price to me? It's like Lego bits. If you buy 2 Lego kits and they've got the same parts but a different picture on, why should they be a different price? If it's got some parts and then different minifigures or an extra bit, it makes more sense. So, oh God, they annoy me. But the inboxes were delightful. Somebody told me that I might as well shit on my own mother's grave. That was one of my favourite ones. Oh God, there was loads. I love witty inboxes. And the one I got really recently was great. It was just like, hey, I want to really help you promote your brand, because you're known as a guy who hates Space Marines. I went, are you lonely? And I just left it at that. And he came back to me and it's like, no, I think you really need to change how you view them. And I went, are you okay? And they were like, what do you think there's something wrong? Yes, get out of my DMs. Shoo, be gone with you. Be gone, foul man. Be gone from me. Just, like, people are intrusive when it comes to mini painting and absolutely fanatical. But hey, just going back to something you said as well, Doc, you said about people being willing to come into my stream with me to help them. Funnily enough, I have to thank GW for that. Out of all the weird like turnarounds, fair play, really, the one you don't want to be right now. I used to be in a Macclesfield store. I lived in Macclesfield for many years, so high 6 to all the locals. And it was a great idea for me because on Saturday mornings, I'd spend every morning there. And the staff, being a solo occupancy store, didn't actually have the time for the people who genuinely gave to the store time, effort, money in the till. None of that. They gave every minute they could, but the management was like, no, you have to be on the till for 9 minutes a day, and then you have to give a hand job to the mum who's coming in who's got money, and you've got to do it anyway. So what happened was we got delegated as the noobs to go to the kind of more veteran gamers. They called them veterans, the over 18 crowd. And I was trained in miniatures, painting, assembly, gaming by other fans. So now that I've had that tutelage, it was naturally imbued in me. That's what you do. When you're the senior painter, when you're the senior hobbyist, you help the next one. And I think that's one of the best things about the hobby, even outside of my personal experience. I think we all have that innate in us. We know what to do. Quite a lot of it comes from kind of, oh, I've been screwed before, I don't want that to happen. Or I learned this really cool thing on Instagram or YouTube. That wasn't a thing 20 years ago. It was all, your mate knows this, I know that. I found out only about a year ago, hand sanitizer is an amazing way to clean a brush, and it will do it in seconds. Paper towel and a hand sanitizer, that's all you need. It will clean your brush in seconds, all that clogged in hard stuff. I found that through one mate of mine who is in America, I've never met in real life. I've gone on to make it a YouTube video, gone on, told everybody about it on stream. You guys just raised eyebrows at me, so I think this is the first time you've heard about it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. The speed we pass information as hobbyists, for the most part, is really good.
So now the 20-minute point where I can see Simon has the frustrated look in his eyes as he wants to promote our actual sponsors of the stream.
I was actually reading the chat, but Dunk, if you want to go ahead with sponsors, you go ahead with sponsors. I was just going to catch up with all the chat because the chat sort of went off, but I didn't want to interrupt anyone's flow, as it were.
No, man, this is your gig with the whole sponsorship thing, so on you go.
Well, we'll all be wearing their t-shirts very soon. I don't know if you're still in chat. Let me just check. Yeah, he's still in chat, so I better the plug why he's in chat. So yeah, Boltstorm Wargaming are now our stream sponsors. They are a hobby shop in Leek, Staffordshire. Bodquin, I thought it was Bodquin Square, but it isn't, I don't think. But it's Unit 2 anyway, in Leek, Staffordshire, behind the Wilco's. In Leek.
Wilco's.
Yeah.
What was Wilco's?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's not in Wilco's much longer. Good point.
Rest in peace.
Casey's been there. And Casey's from London, and even he's been there. So we're trying to get them internationally global famous. They do many different games other than GW. I was just playing Bolt Action there on Monday. There's demo games. They'll set you up. Ant and Coop, really nice guys. Ant is a very good commission painter. He is Goon Paints on here. So that's the plugs done. I'll just quick catch up with chat. So Walkgate said, "What's happening, dudes? Hope all is well." He's the super duper influencer based in the States. Or say hello to Walkgate. Then I've got Nymph says, "Oh dear, there's always got to be haters around." This is very true. Then Warpgate's gone to list one-page rules, Bolt Action, Frostgrave, Kings of War, all decent alternative rule sets. I need to try one-page rules, to be honest, because I've heard it's really good. And then Rich says, "I've painted Zach's minis, could not afford Playcaster plus Karen Cullen." And then you've got some shocked faces from Nymph. I'm guessing that was when we were talking about sucking shafts and juggling balls. And then we're all caught up.
So what are you right now?
On your own. Sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry, I didn't actually have any questions as of yet. I just wanted to apologise for my lateness. I was in the middle of gutting cupboards to try and get all my hobby stuff into one place. So apologies for that, gents. Yeah, crack on.
So, as I said, you're moving from Twitch to Kick. Can you just, for the people that don't know, you just give them a wee bit of background, and how do you feel moving to Kick? Is it a better platform than Twitch? Are you happier over there?
This is a roller coaster. So I need to give you a little background as to what's been happening with streaming, because I know a lot of people don't know the back end of it. Long story short, I've been on Twitch now for 3 years. I've made it my full-time job, along with mini painting, promoting, and selling myself as basically a whore. So what I do as a brand is I paint minis pretty much non-stop. I'm currently working 5 days a week on Twitch doing streams, 3 nights a week on YouTube and Kick, and then I'm doing YouTube content daily as well. I'm probably, like, the joke is at the moment, if Ken from the Barbie movie, his job is beach, my job is internet. That's basically what I do. So what happened is, about 6 months ago, they changed something in the Twitch contract. Now, they've jimmied about this quite a few times, but the long story short, they put in some really dodgy changes that made it very bad for the creators. They then undid this after people got a bit arsey, and it was things like you can only use 3% of your screen for advertising of brands, revenue, any non-Twitch content that isn't just like an overlay. So to give you the most weird example, Stream Raiders is a little game you play on stream as part of your Twitch stream. The logo for that and the tracker for the timer is bigger than 3%. And because you can make an earning off it by selling skins, you're not actually allowed to use their own game in their own platform. So that was one thing that people got mixed about. So at the same time that happened, Kick was on the rise. Kick gives a 95% commission. So if you pay me £5 on Kick, I would get £4.75 kind of. If you then go to Twitch, you pay £4, I would get £1.36. Because there's this big thing that people don't understand about Twitch. When you're in the UK, you get the worst currency conversion rate possible. You then get paid and you get 50% deduction for Twitch's cut. You then get a 4% payment fee. You then get a PayPal deduction fee and the work exchange rate. So your Twitch sub you're paying £4 for is giving me £1.36. Now, the mini painters here will be going, oh, hang on a minute. If a pot of paint is £3.30, why are three of us having to pay £12 to buy our stream of one pot of paint? So that's the logic of why a lot of people went to Kick. Now, Kick just celebrated a few milestones. Now, back then they had, I think it was like 100 million or 100,000 people logged in for the first time on the weekend I decided to go on. And the money's been really good. It's actually kept me in business at the moment, which comes to the next part of the story. We have a thing called the Twitch Summer Slow. So summer comes out, everybody goes outside, nobody sat there watching little old me painting. My numbers went from 55 down to about kind of 45 as a viewing average every summer. I'd lose about 20%. This year it's been a lot different. First of all, the rise of Kick has given people more options. The summer slow has been particularly painful this year because we had some exceptionally hot weather. And the worst one for me is Baldur's Gate came out. That absolutely destroyed my business. I have been holding on real tight recently, and this is why I've been pushing YouTube really hard. So the day Baldur's Gate came out, my viewing average went from 55 down to 35, and it's been slowly climbing since. Can you imagine when you've got sponsorships, affiliates, and promotional things that require you to have 50 plus, and overnight you've lost like 35, 40% of your audience? So this is why people go back to Twitch, back to Kick, because all these problems are occurring one after another. For me, I'm almost exclusively a D&D streamer now, so it does hit me harder when games like Baldur's Gate come out. And it was a multiple knock-on effect. The streamers who were doing D&D, who I network with, they've gone to play Baldur's Gate, so there's no raids. Then you've got the people who don't want spoilers or playing it themselves, and it's just people taking out the pot left, right, and centre. Mirroring that, you've got the Kick problem. Kick itself does not have an innate audience. It's a bunch of people like myself who've gone, hey, my Twitch friends, will you come and join me over here where I can make real money? And they all went, yeah, not a problem. But when I log off, they all log off with me. So there is no native audience. They're not there before me. They're not there after me. They're just there. You replicate that for every streamer on the platform. Nobody's growing. Yeah. There is some growth in like the minority. I've been watching a guy, I won't shame or name them, but they've basically been streaming now for about 4 or 5 hours a day, doing popular games, top of the category of each one. He's gained maybe 25 followers in 6 months. So that gives you an idea of what some of the growth is like. If you're doing gambling or you're one of these other advertising streamers, there's more opportunity for you. But Twitch and Kick are polar opposites. Now, the thing I've not mentioned is the prostitute story. Are you chaps familiar with the prostitute story? Okay.
Nope.
Let me tell you, this is a grim story, but I will keep it gentlemanly as much as I can.
We don't stand on ceremony. Go gory details. We love them. Go for
it. So basically, what happened about 3 to 4 weeks ago is Ice Poseidon, who is this massive knobhead streamer who was banned from Twitch. He's on Kick. He's paid to be there. They promoted the hell out of him. He basically organised this. They hired a lady for hire and recorded it. And it was nothing sexual at that point. It was just they set up a webcam. They went, by the way, you're being streamed. She went, okay, not a problem. And midway through, I'm sparing some details here, they basically said, oh my God, Willow, not now. She's poop scooting. Oh God.
What a cliffhanger she's left us on there. That's terrible.
Oh, I was on a streak, and so she. So anyway, they recorded this incident. She never undressed. There was no real handsy stuff. None of that. None of that escalated to that level. I want to be very crystal clear on that. None of that happened. But what happened is the lady in question got messaged like, by the way, I know you agreed that this was streamed. Did you know it's to 8,000 plus people? And then she got the vibe. She said she wants to get out of there. She tried to leave. The gentleman tried to stop. Say gentleman, he's fucking not a gentleman at all. He tried to stop her. Now, the kind of Twitch version of the story, which I'll come back to in a moment, is he violently stopped her from leaving. She put in some resistance. He yielded. And he did stop her leaving, but he did back down almost immediately. So because of that incident, everybody was there like, Twitch allows this, Twitch allows, sorry, Kick allows this, Kick allows that. And everybody turned on Kick even more. Now, there's a couple of elements to the story that only make it worse. Eddie, who's the CEO and the co-founder, he was in the chat laugh emojiing at the time.
Oh my.
That's the big problem. Now, one of the things about streaming, and it might sound really horrible to say, you can't stop me. If I was to suddenly drop a hate crime or a racial slur right now, live time, you can't stop me. You can only stop me after I've done it. So I'm very kind of like, if a streamer does a big faux pas, that's on the streamer, not the platform. Changing the CEO is in the chat egging them on. That killed Kick's dead.
Yeah,
I will straight up say this: Kick is dead. But we need to learn lessons from it, and there's a couple of lessons that need to be learned. First of all, Twitch streamers are a real problem for the industry. So there is nothing more fragile than a Twitch streamer afraid of losing viewers. There is nothing more fragile. One of the problems with being a streamer is we're very addicted to what we do. We have a little number in the corner that says X number of people like us and this number of people give a shit, and they're all in my echo chamber. They're my friends amping me up. Mike, your penis is massive. We love you for it. Oh, you're a stallion. You're this. And they do it every single day. It's addictive. I go out into the real world. Nobody cares about my penis. So you go in and you live this kind of life and you're constantly being amped up. So when that's being shaken and pulled out from underneath you, you get afraid that you're going to have to go out in the real world and you're no longer a measurable success. You're now just an exposed naked person in the street who looks like everybody else. So this makes a point, I promise you. So when you then have, oh, Kick's great, we're doing really well on Kick, come join Kick, you get real money. The Twitch streamers, who are the purists, who don't want to have time, they all go, but it's a gambling site. No, it's not very good. No, it's poor. And they're trying to pull down the value of this because they don't want to put the work in to be at the same value. So that's quite often what happens. The Twitch streamers will pull down the other streamers. Why is this relevant? They've killed the market. Trovo, what's it, Rumble, there's a crafting space. All these other live platforms are being killed by the Twitch fanatics because the streamers who have a platform are so afraid of other people finding a platform right now that they're killing other platforms. Then Kick gave them the silver bullet with the prostitute drama and all the other issues they've had. They just hit 1 million concurrent views. That's amazing for the Twitch platform, for the Kick platform. The problem is, it was one guy with bots illegally streaming a boxing event with 80,000 people and then 20,000 others just somewhere in the ether. Streaming is a goddamn mess right now. Unbelievable mess. Hopefully that gives you an idea of just how messed up the picture is. It goes one step further. I promise you this is the last little bit. The big incentive to join Kick is not Kick. It's the fear of how Twitch is going. Twitch is on a constant downward slide. It's never going to go well for anyone. It's going to end up in the toilet. It's already been downhill for as long as people can remember. So what's going to happen is eventually the platform's not going to be worth anything. Well, what else has happened? These little vocal minority of Twitch streamers and the ones with the big platforms telling you that all the other platforms are garbage, they're letting Twitch slide because they have no competition to rise up to. If Kick just kept growing, Twitch would have to do something. To give you an idea of how it worked on the YouTube side, Twitch messed up and changed the contract slightly. YouTube halved the requirement for you to be a paid streamer. So competition rised. Problem with YouTube is you have to actually get 3,000 watch hours and 500 subscribers before you make 10p. So the reason why Kick did really well for me personally and why I continue to use it is if I'm streaming to Kick at the moment, I can stream at YouTube at the same time because they don't have the exclusivity clause that Twitch has, which means I then have, let's say I stream for 3 hours, I've got a 3-hour video to watch on YouTube for 3 more hours watch time. Then I make a playlist where my viewers regularly just go, oh, I'll just put it on the background, get your watch hours up.
Yeah.
Horrific traction on YouTube just by streaming to Kick. So I've got the short-term earnings of Kick, the long-term stability of YouTube. So when Kick and Twitch go in the toilet, I'm hitting the ground running with YouTube. That's the mess that Twitch has been in for the last 10 weeks and why everything else is spiraling around. And nobody will talk about it because, again, the Twitch streamers are afraid because they don't want people leaving. And the Kick streamers are afraid because the truth is they're not going anywhere. They're all going to fall. They're all going to fold. The only ones benefiting this are the YouTubers. They're just sat back going, yeah, I'll make a little extra money on the side. That's all right. Don't mind if I do. Got some pocket money. And when one sub on Kick will buy 2 pots of paint, and yet 3 subs on Twitch won't even buy 1, it's bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. And then you look at how that has a knock-on effect. Everybody's numbers go down. The platform's worth less. The majority of my money right now is in Patreon, the one platform that isn't touched by live streaming.
Mm.
So if anybody here is looking at getting into streaming, first of all, don't. Just don't. It is addictive. It is problematic. It has absolutely destroyed my life and I genuinely mean that. The amount of hours I work at what I do, I've had to learn video, the amount of skills I have learned, video editing, broadcasting, all this tech stuff, amazing. I've blown myself out the water. I could not be more proud of what I do. But what I get back from it is sometimes £200 a month from Twitch that I've spent 30 hours a week live, and then I've spent more. You'll never make your money back. Just
because what some people don't realise is that when you do your giveaways, you're paying for the postage to that person as well. So that's more money out of your pocket.
It's even funnier than that. I sent out five parcels, £50 each for my birthday stream, right? Really trying to pump up the jam. And somebody went, my parcel never came. And I went, well, when you want it, you have to tick a box that says exclamation point claim. I'm here. I set my price. And I say, you have to get in touch with me so I can ship you your goods. You know, give me your address, give you permission to be in touch, confirm you're over 18, the standard shebang. Also, I don't do giveaways on Twitch because that would be illegal on UK raffling sites, wouldn't it? I do complimentary handovers to lucky subscribers. But the point is, they then didn't ever claim it. I wasn't going to chase them. I chased them once. I don't do it more than that. And then 3 months down the line, he was all over Twitter and Facebook. Mike's been hiding my prizes. Man. Like
we've had some chat. So you've got Spud2808 who's watching, literally is a fan and patron supporter of Mike. There you go.
Human.
That's an endorsement. Then Boltstorm, brilliant insight into streaming. This is really interesting stuff. Orkish Mama was thinking about doing it, but now she guesses not.
Nope. Save yourself. Let me simplify it just to one way, right? How much is a webcam now? 60, 70 quid?
Yeah,
That's 50 subs, basically. 50 subs, times that by 5, your audience has to pay you £250 to run your camera. Or you're paying it out of pocket. At what point will you ever make a profit if just your camera is that much money?
Yeah, true.
That's the simplest logic I can provide anyone. If you break down my hourly earnings, I probably make enough to maybe buy myself some Haribo. Maybe. The reason I'm succeeding, where a lot of people are failing, a lot of people are now getting full-time jobs, they're moving on. The only reason I'm succeeding is I have a very low life expenditure. I'm lucky on my rent. I'm lucky on my bills. I'm reusing content over and over again. Like one Dungeons and Lasers Kickstarter, which cost me like 250 quid, is enough content for well over a year. That's it. Also, there are certain luxuries as a streamer which are horribly misconstrued by the average Joe. The big one at the moment is you get free stuff. That must be lovely. No, it's not. It's a curse. It's the monkey paw. Don't do it. The reason it's a curse is, number one, you're never allowed to sell it. You are contractually obliged not to sell any gift you've been given for promotional or review purposes. So you have to clutter it. It lives in your house forever. That's the first part. The second one, if you send me 10 miniatures and they take me 5 hours to do, that's 50 hours of unpaid work. And people are like,
yeah,
you get free toys. Give me my life money, please. I would like, and they go, but exposure don't pay bills, bitch. They don't pay shit. So I get a lot of hobby shops come forward to me and they're like, hey, if I give you this miniature, will you paint it and promote the shit out of us? And I'm like, I would love you to have 6 to 10 hours of my life for free. How about that? UK minimum wage now is coming up to £11, which, again, the absolute disgust. I would need 9 people to subscribe to me every hour to make minimum wage.
That's ridiculous.
9 people paying £4 each for me to make minimum wage just on streaming. So the way you do it, and this is advice for anybody who is mental enough to try streaming, you don't stream to make money. You don't do that. I know it sounds really, really obvious and counterintuitive as my job. As a small business, one of your biggest expenses is marketing and advertising. I can do that on Twitch. I can pay on Twitch. I can do all that on Twitch. You need to completely take your money away from Twitch, put it in Patreon, put it in Ko-fi. But I promise you, you will be happier not streaming. If you do decide, like Orcish Mama, that you want to go and have a little bit of fun and some anxieties, I would go to Discord, go hang out with your homies, get comfortable hanging out in a Discord where you know a couple of people, but you don't know the others. They drop in, they hang out, they chat to you. It's kind of like a hobby space in a store. Just you don't have to smell people who smell of unclean penis. It's just a much nicer experience. You're streaming to people you're comfortable with. If you want to leave, you can do. You don't have the general public gawping in at you, judging you every 5 minutes. Like, seriously, the amount of times I've said penis is probably an uncanny amount of penis per minute on this stream.
I think it's probably the most anybody said penis on the stream, to be honest with you, in the 5 that we've done.
Well,
but just
repping the old penis squad, you know. But no, in all seriousness, it is a disastrous time to be a mini painter in a streaming platform. It is the best time to learn mini painting, but financially as a hobby, financially as a stream, and the amount of stress on a person. Another thing that I've not mentioned is, and I really don't want to sound disrespectful, but it's going to sound a little bit smug and it's going to sound horrible, and I don't care. Most of my audience are disabled or unemployed, because I stream 10 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which avoids all of the work hours. So the people I've got in the majority are people who do not have the income to spend. Remember who you're taking money from as a streamer. Like, if you're repeatedly doing, like, oh, you know, I need to do a subathon and I'm doing it on the middle of a work week, who's going to pay for that? Like, they work. And there's this really inflated sense that streamers make money. We don't. We hemorrhage it. We literally hemorrhage it. The only reason it's my job is every single morning before I go live on Twitch, my YouTube has 1,500 views. Minimum. Near enough every day it has that. The amount of content I have to put out to be relevant for 5 minutes is insane, which means every night I'm editing a YouTube short, I'm doing a video. Every evening I'm then on Twitch and Kick, and I'm doing all these other things. The amount of things you have to juggle just to stay remotely relevant. And the worst part is, statistically, I'm incredibly successful. I'm in the top 0.5% of Twitch. Top 0.5. And I'm still going, it's unsustainable. It's dying. It's none of that. The average, by the way, if anybody does start streaming, you've got a viewership of 5, you're already in the top 5%. That's what the bar is, 5 people. So if you, your neighbour, and whoever's down the road all join in, you're already more successful than most streamers, because the average streamer will not get any traction because the platforms don't promote you. So
I think when we started this, like, we thought that, like, I kind of thought of this idea of doing these sort of interviews and like calling it like this sort of thing back during the summer, and I think we picked the right time of the year to do it, just as the nights were coming in. And I think our first video with Inferno Miniatures had like 3 concurrent viewers, and see, really tonight we've been fluctuating between 8 and 12. Like, we're super stoked with that. Like, this is not something that we've put any real money into. Like, the amount of emails that I've sent out in DMs to people, and they don't email you back, and you do learn not to take it personally, because you know that they've read it, but they haven't emailed you back. But see, because I have been so persistent in emailing the likes of yourselves, and then I thought, well, do you know what, maybe cast my net out a wee bit further, see how far we can push this. So, like, Duncan Rhodes confirmed today that he's going to come on the 3rd of December. We've got Graham McNeil coming on at the end of the month. 2 weeks after that, we've got Peachy. So, like, we are pushing this. Like, we're not making anything out of this. This is just something that we've decided to do just to spread the love to the community and spread people like yourself and the small people who you see on Instagram who are very talented painters and also penge, and see if we can get them a few more followers.
Got to get me some love.
Penge is our community outreach project.
Yeah, I'm a bit special.
The thing is, Like, if you guys, this goes to everybody, not just you, if you want to grow on any social media platform, the first thing to do is stop trying. I know it's, again, counterintuitive to what I said before, but when you're in your first kind of 5 viewers, your first 5, they're looking for honest people. They bond to personalities. They don't bond to bullshit. The single biggest advice I give people at the early level is, if you're streaming to less than 3 viewers, stop streaming. After 2 hours, stop streaming. Just close down your stream and walk away. You then go on YouTube, Twitter, whatever social, you go out and you comment on people's photos, you network with people. And then when I say network, I don't mean I'll alert you if you alert me. Fuck off. That's some crap shit. You go in there and you genuinely make friends. Like, won't say who. Somebody yesterday messaged me going, I can't get a vac from a 3D printer. I've tried everywhere. It's discontinued. I went, send me your address, I'll ship you one. People have done that to me. I've just received an order from Reaper from halfway around the world because somebody was able to get me something I couldn't get. The wargaming community and the stream community are incredibly kind people for the majority of it. There's the odd asshole, there always is. There's always a turd in the punch bowl. But there is really good people in these communities. And a lot of these people just want to talk to people. And even if you're a shy streamer, you're approachable because you have a chat bar. People can stay hidden in the shadows and message and be like, hey, we like your work. That's really cool. Thank you.
I think with us 3 as well, like, I never knew these 3 guys up until about a year and a half ago. Like, I drew Casey in a competition, in a painting competition, and I don't know how I ended up knowing old granddad, Simon there. But it was just, and that's how we all started talking to each other. Like, if I'm doing a figure in a competition, I'll make it about the figure. I always put up like propaganda about the other person, and then if that person knocks me out, I'll wish them the best and then start like promoting them for the next round. And I think that's how the 3 of us have came together, because like day 2 started streaming, I jumped in one of my fishing streams and we were doing it quite regularly, and I just felt as though there was something missing within the community for not the top tier people, that the likes of yourselves and people that have like thousands upon thousands of followers or are on Twitch or YouTube, but for the smaller painters that should get the exposure, and also trying to bring on girls. Like we've had one girl on so far, Nymph from Denmark. I had to remember that there. I was about to say Norway there. So, but the whole point of this like series is reaching out to everybody. We've got people coming on from the States now. We're trying to get more girls involved. Like, it's just a constant community that we're trying to build here as well. And having people on like yourselves, we do appreciate, but people are giving up their time as well. And that's all you can ask. If somebody's giving up their time, like, you've got to appreciate that. And that's why we try and promote people then. So like tomorrow I'll start promoting the next guest, and for a full week.
Give me one bit of advice that I think will really help you guys. First of all, is to remember how many people you are. At the moment, it says there's 10 people here on my channel on my little dude. I've never Instagram live. It's really weird for me. There's 10. If 10 people turned up at your house, you'd be bloody annoyed. You'd be very annoyed. You'd want to leave. You'd want to go off and fart in a quiet corner, and you'd be wound up. So if you've got even 5 people, appreciate that 5 human beings is actually quite a lot of mass. So do take credit in the fact that if you hold 5, that's more than most grown men have as friends. Like, that's a really big thing. Men are lonely as fuck. And wargaming, it's like, no matter where you come from, I even talk to Space Marine players. They're people too. And you know, you have fun with them. Even if they do have bad taste in miniatures, that you can still chat with them. You can still, you know what, I actually genuinely, one of my favorite Black Library books is a Dan Abnett, Brothers of the Snake. A Space Marine book is one of my favorites. So I even have that to bond. Men at the moment are so incredibly lonely, and one of the things about mini painting is it attracts the anxious, the shy, the unable to communicate. Quite a lot of people in it are autistic because it gives traits that really benefit the autistic mindset. One of the reasons I do Dungeons and Dragons is I'm quite a natural performer. I'm a dungeon master. It might surprise people. So when I'm playing with, I used to play with a lot of primary school groups and disabled adults, and I used to play with quite a lot of communities of that. And it was the men who were closed off who suddenly opened up and started enjoying themselves. We've got, I think it's called Andy's Men Club in Manchester. It's just an open door in Manchester. Go in, have some fun with your bros. And one of the things I'll say about mini painting on Twitch, it's the most bromo-erotic place I've ever been. It's like Roman bathhouses. I go into stream and I'm like, hey, bro, Zerka, how you doing? My hunky little bit of man meet you. Mr. Ginge comes in and he goes, Daddy. And I'm like, my boy, come here and give me a squeeze. And it's like, I'll call people your pretty little thing. And you go into another stream and it's like, I slap you on the bum with love. It's so bromo-erotic, but in such a friendly, non-oppressive. And if anybody says, I don't like that, they will back down immediately. They're that good about it. And it is really nice to kind of see just how, like, Roman bathhouse Twitch mini painting is. And I've come from rugby teams and we didn't love each other that much. I would literally get my ribs broken and they would be the first ones to care for me. They don't love me as much as that. They're not as open as much as that. If I inbox somebody who's not been in my stream for a few days, I'm like, you're being quiet. I'm getting a little worried now. And they're like, they never once say, it's never happened. They've never gone, you just want me to be back as a viewer. No, because we spent ages talking. I know when they're not being right. I've got one of my friends who's in stream every single day. They've just gone off the grid completely. I can't get hold of them. They've just completely, Instagram, Twitter, every platform, they've just gone. And can you imagine how much that worries me? Because I don't have a mobile for them. I don't know where they live and stuff like that. We have hobbyists who've never met. You don't even know my real name half the time. They know nothing about each other. Yet we genuinely care for each other. I will also push some of them downstairs. But we genuinely care for each other. Like,
yeah, I must say, Mike, sorry to interject here, but like, there's been times where I haven't been on your stream, and when I do jump in, and you go, all right, Doc, how you doing? Not seen you in a long time. And that's mental. You don't get that from other streamers in Twitch, where I might have not been on for about a month and a half, I've maybe been a bit busy with work, or I couldn't run on my break. But you're always so welcoming when somebody does pop into your stream.
Let me tell you a little trick. I know you're alive when you're not in my stream because I have a bot enabled, right? This is going to sound very nosy, but I want everybody to understand this bot. Mix It Up bot is it lets you do channel points, it lets you do chat log, run messages in chat, very standard. It tells you the last time somebody was in stream. If you log in and you click on their name, it will say last in this stream. So even if you just poke your head in without saying a word to me, if I go, I've not seen Doc in like 4 months. Oh, actually, he popped in and just didn't say hi 3 days. I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry at all. That bot software, by the way, if anybody is a streamer, get Mix It Up. I had a police incident last year with 2 Warhammer streamers, and without going into...
I was about to ask you about that. Is that the guy that was kept spamming people's inboxes because he spammed my inbox as well?
No, that's a third person. Oh my God, I've got 4 of them. I've got 4 weirdos. If I get one more, I've got the Infinity Weirdos. It's great. So the first 2, let's call them Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie would hide behind fake accounts on Twitter, YouTube, and all the others. They recorded, using their OBS software, 150 hours of me streaming. The effort that takes, you have to be logged in, isolating your window capture and recording the whole screen. They edited that down to try and slander me and put it all over the internet. Skip some steps forward. They then tried to expose the location of my daughter's school, which they apparently found out through probing various places of my personal life, and they threatened to expose it to the internet. This is what Warhammer streamers can be. There is a weaponized... These are 2 streamers. I won't name them because I've never named them, because it's not worth making it a he said, they said, streamer argument, whatever argument. Bert and Ernie, they're quiet and miserable. Nobody watches their stream. Nobody gives a shit about them. And they just sit there. And while I'm sat there talking to all my friends, nobody cares. Because they're toxic and venomous people. And they just sit there miserably on their own, marinating in their own misery. And that's the best thing for me. I don't have to worry about them because they're living their everyday hell that they dedicated 150 hours to monitoring me because they were so miserable. Honestly, it's delicious. I love it. Oh, spread it on a scone. It's great. But the point is, that's the scary level they go to. The Mix It Up bot, every time they came into my stream, it would leave a reminder, last here at. You can't check in lifetime. Well, yes, you can, but you have to be watching it at the time. It will basically say who's in your chat, even if you're offline on Twitch, because the chat still runs if you're on Twitch. But the last time they logged into your stream, it will tell you. So when they put up a harassing post on their anonymous Twitter and they emailed all my sponsors, affiliates, financiers, the people I did commission for, every time they did it, their real Twitch account was in my chat. So I was able to send it to the police, matching their posts with their thing. So Mix It Up is fantastic for your personal safety and security. That's the big thing. It lets me know that you guys are alive and well if you go AWOL for a while. And it also gives me safety that if somebody is going around being naughty, I can say, actually, this adds up. So I forwarded that all to the police. So that's one of my weirdo stories. The current one I've got, which is just delightful, this is my favorite one. There's a streamer who goes around harassing Warhammer streamers, and they've taken a particular fancy to me. I think it's my height. I magnetize. Maybe it's my confidence, one of the two. But they have been broadcasting me and my stream to Chatterbait while they pleasure themselves. I paint fucking minis. And there you go.
You do have a fantastic beard, Mike, and you also have Willow there as well. I mean, that's a perfect pussy and a perfect beard there.
Yeah, that's what they do. And they've gone round all these Warhammer streamers, but I'm the only one who got blessed on adult sites. They literally record my content, and their camera is looking at my content and themselves mirrored to these sites. And I just want to paint my dragons. Like,
maybe it's the dragons that are doing it. Maybe you should paint something else.
My God, have I been labelling my stream Bad Dragons again?
I think touching back to what you were saying about community. I mean, I started doing Instagram nearly 3 years ago now. I think it's October the 20th, so not far off 3 years. Just because it was COVID, I had nothing else to do.
That's when I joined.
I was alone. And the community side of things, I mean, I get piss-takingly called by these guys, the guys at Boltstorm, an influencer. I don't consider myself an influencer in any way, shape, or form. But I've got to like getting on for over 6,000 followers. But part of it, but for me, it's the community. I mean, I've not met, but I stream with these two idiots. I've met so many people in the hobby that I now consider friends and know personally and go and game with and roll dice with. I wouldn't have gone to Boltstorm Wargaming if I hadn't seen him on Instagram. I wouldn't know Josh at Three Spires and his community if I wasn't on here. I wouldn't know a lot of people who've now become personal friends through here. So for me, the community side of it, like you say, I'm lonely as fuck. So having this outlet for everybody that speak to me, I mean, I get dozens of DMs. Sometimes it's a pain in the arse, and I was moaning about it last night. Yeah. But I do get dozens of DMs a day. But when you get a DM just asking how you are, like what you do, and wanting to start a chat with you about something, it's when you've had a shit day and you come home to an empty house after work and you see a message from someone who just wants to chat, it's great. But you do have to take the rough with the smooth. There are a lot of weirdos out there, but there's more great people.
There is.
I think for me and Casey, not being influencers like yourself, Simon, we haven't received that level of weirdness through our DMs. We're the ones sending the weirdness through the DMs.
Yeah. You are two of the weird DMs that I first had, yeah.
This is what's really kind of nice about the platform. My favourite's getting memes or getting a picture of a miniature, right? Genuinely, I love it. Because somebody has gone, I saw this and I thought of you. Or I respect your opinion. I want your input. That's fucking.
And that's the other thing. That's the other thing in your streams as well, Mike. Is when you're doing your Twitch, is that every day you in your Discord you'll encourage people to post their miniatures on your Discord, and then we get to see those miniatures on your Twitch stream because you'll show the pictures, and
there's a difference.
And that's brilliant.
One of the things that I want to kind of get over this misconception is a lot of streamers will encourage people to join their Discord so they see the go live alert and they will watch. The difference in the way I approach it and the way other people approach it, and I don't want this to say other streamers are doing it wrong, this is just how I do it. There's two things I think I do differently, which I will do till I die. Number one is when you do a show and tell, you advertise it all morning. You don't just go, oh, we're going to do that because one person did this. Everybody else's work is no less valuable than the other person's. We do it at around 1 o'clock, give or take an hour, depending on when I need my coffee. We do it. We all do it together. We all pay attention. And we do it when I'm back from my Be Right Back. And I make a noise. And it's like, right, guys, 30 seconds. We're all going in. We're all looking at it. This is what we do. So it's not just that I'm showing off the community so more people stay in my stream. No, this is, we want people to look at other people's work.
Yeah.
The biggest is I don't play Warhammer. I might have hinted on that. What I play, Batman miniatures games, D&D, Lord of the Rings, Rumble Slam is what I'm just picking up, and Blood Bowl. So if I see somebody doing one of those models, oh, you've got a friend for life in me. Pass that on to everybody else. I've never done Bolt Action. I've never done World of Tanks. I've never done any of that. So if I get that excitement seeing somebody do my niche hobby, then I imagine that for everybody. So that's one thing. The other thing I don't do shout outs on Twitch. Fucking hate them. What happens on Twitch is somebody joins a stream and then they go, oh my God, it's this person, shout them out. If you shout out everyone, that's a courtesy. It's not a promotion. You are doing it because it's good PR. It has absolutely no bearing on your stream. Shout outs don't mean follows. They never do. So when I get raided, they get a shout out. That's etiquette. You thought of my community, you came to me. But the shout out comes after I've talked about what is their stream, what can they show me, what can we inspire my friends to take interest in. That's the difference. If you go to one of the streams I absolutely hate is when you join and they immediately shout you out. Even if I'm not a streamer, I've seen people who are not streamers generate a following of like 45 people because they entered a stream and they got shouted out. Because streaming is networking. Twitch tells you from the get-go, you're not going to get followers on Twitch without networking. And if you want to make followers, you need to go make friends with other people and get them from off the platform. So when you go to enough YouTubers and TikTokers who are all saying, hey, grow on Twitch, go network, join this Discord, follow for follow, everything like that, it doesn't work. It's superficial, it's fake, it's bullshit, I hate it. So when you do a shout out, the way, if everybody learned this, we would all be happy hobbyists. Hey, welcome in. My name is Mike Moans. I'm painting minis today. What were you up to? And they would normally go, oh, we were playing this, we were doing that. And I'm there like, well, come on then, don't just tease me. Where can I see? How can I show you best? What were you working on? Show me your Instagram. And if they go, oh, I don't really have anything prepared, I go, well, I'm going to stalk you. And I'll find an Instagram, a Twitter, or a VOD. I will find like any in. My favorite one is, do you play Monster Hunter? Because I could talk about that endlessly. It means it's not necessarily the war gamers, necessarily the painters. A lot of people know Monster Hunter. And if they don't, oh, well, you don't play it? Are you not on the Switch? You're on the Xbox? You're on the PlayStation? You're a PC game? There is an entry in everything. If you take honest, interesting people, they will come back another day to finish that conversation. That's marketing 101. That's decency. That's not being a pillock. So you guys have let me basically talk your ear off the whole time already. And that's because, by the look of things, you are interested in me. I am interested in telling a story. I'm picking up on chat. Your body language is saying, actually, this is quite positive. That's a level of interaction you might not get with Twitch because it's a one-sided affair. But it is a remarkably, it's so paradoxical. It's so true yet so false. It's so wholesome yet disgusting. It's bromo-erotic and yet weirdly creepy. Like, it is the most paradoxical space. The best advice, as I've already said, is if you don't do well in 2 hours, get off, go make friends elsewhere. And I mean make friends. YouTube, I've made friends with YouTubers. I don't like YouTubers. I'll be honest. They all start off with going, hey! And I think, die! That energy I do not have time for. At all. I don't. I'm sorry. The fake YouTuber energy just makes me go to sleep. My YouTube is miniatures free, not my content. My content is full of it. But I have to have one sanctuary away from the social media star, away from the painters, the everything. Because I can't go on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Twitch, anywhere. Or even my emails, marketing, everything like that. Everything is miniatures. YouTube is my little bubble where they don't exist. So for me to actually take time to know them outside of it is really nice. It is genuinely really nice. And networking through just the occasional comment here, meeting people in person, hanging out in a stream. The best place to make friends is just communal painting Discord. That is it. Some of my favorite people are just weirdos I've stumbled across on Discord in the early hours of the morning.
Just people have asked us, like, why are you not painting when you're chatting to people? Like, if I've invited you on to, if you've been invited onto this chat, then I'm giving you my full attention and not concentrating on something else. That's not respectful. Like, so that's why I don't paint, and it's probably the same for Casey and Simon as well,
Yeah.
speaking for them. But like you've agreed to give up your time to come and speak to us, so the least that we can do is give you 100% of our focus. And definitely, and as Deltarac said there, bromoerotic is definitely getting used from now on.
Yeah, it's a new word. There's quite a few people in chat have mentioned bromoerotic. I think it's going to take off.
Honestly, bromoeroticism is fantastic because men have a real problem with communicating affection for each other. They have a real problem vocating any feeling because we're told if we share a feeling, we basically put it out there for people to exploit.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. Nobody is able to physically overpower me. I'm a tower of power who is far too sweet to be sour. And if you come at me, you're falling over just through my sheer mass alone, right? There is not a human being who can knock me off my feet. But if I tell you something personal about my life, like a dodgy uncle or something like that, or, you know, Prince Andrew was my babysitter, you're going to manipulate it, you're going to use it. But using this bromoerotic language to show you care for people, it's light-hearted and jokey enough that it's like, yeah, that's just fun, you know?
I think that's probably the two taglines for this chat is bromoerotic and Prince Andrew was my babysitter. That's definitely
I think we should hashtag it and see if we can get it trending.
If we were to put this on YouTube, that'd definitely be the video title. Prince Andrew was my babysitter.
Promo.
Mate,
like
it's gonna go on my story to advertise the stream. The playback.
Mike, I just want to say, I need to wrap up here because I need to go and get my wee fella from the egg chasing, and we always try and keep it to an hour. I think, personally speaking this now, I'd love to have you back on. I just feel as though we would definitely have more words of wisdom from yourself and more bromoeroticism from you.
By having me here, let me do you the favour. It's exposing your bodies to my friends. Let's have you on my stream. We'll put you on Twitch. We'll put you in the most bromoerotic space of the internet. You guys come in as my guest. You talk, and I'll shut the fuck up.
I don't know about that, because you've just done a shitload of talking, man. But here, I just want to say, everybody, where can people catch you, Mike, if they're not already following you? Where is it they can catch you?
Normally, a local salad bar. I'm there all the time, honestly. That Birch, my big guy God, he loves me. Songs of praise is my jam. The best place is in about 15 minutes. I'll be on Kick. I've got to do stream 2 of the day, so I'm going to be doing Baldur's Gate because I need an evening, which is not miniatures. I'm going to be playing Baldur's Gate. The best thing to do: click on my Instagram profile, go to the link tree. All my places are there. But if you want to hang out, my Discord is the best place, and you'll get a link for that in my Twitch. I love it. It's called the Cult of Creativity. Again, I'll finish on this note. The ethos of it is it's not a place for me to just spread my wings and go, welcome to my space. This is the Church of Mike. Isn't it lovely? I have a cat. It's a place where every single person in the Twitch community is invited to about 10 different Discords a day by 10 different streamers. So what I did is I gathered up about 10 different streamers and I went, this is your space. This is where you live now. So your friends can come here, my friends can come here, and I don't have to join 10 Discords. So Don Moan sits at the top of the pile. I have my lovely streamer friends, and we all look after each other. And that's what we do, because it's fucking stressful, the amount of shit you do for stream. Yeah. So having all that...
I'm finding that out, just trying to get people booked to come on here. It's so... I mean, I had to take a break last week, but I ended up finding myself coming back on Thursday, Friday, emailing people and reaching out to people, because people are cancelling, and then I try to get guests on that maybe have cancelled, and then you try to reschedule people coming on. But again, just want to say thanks to Mike for coming on as always. Thanks for Casey for eventually turning up, and Simon being old and turning up to his way by his bedtime. And as always, thanks to Boltstorm Gaming for sponsoring us. Any 2 words of wisdom from yourselves, Dumb and Dumber?
I'll be dumb today. Yeah, don't decide to empty a cupboard out before you're going to go on a live stream, because what you think is a 10-minute job is going to turn into an hour.
I'll be dumber. Thank you, Casey, for not eating on stream or working on stream and actually giving the guests your full attention.
No, well.
Thanks again, guys. And next week, Who's That Gut Lord has had to reschedule, so we'll be trying to find another guest next week.
We did talk to BTJ from Vanguard Tactics, but he hasn't replied to my message saying, "Can you come on next week?" Because he said he wanted to come on. I said, "Well, we can split you in next week," and he hasn't messaged me back.
We'll find something.
I've also spoke to Adiro as well. But anyway, folks, thanks for coming on. Again, love yous all. Peace be with you. And remember, the bromance is real.
All the promo.
See you later.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
Bye.